Yeah.
You know?
Like, what do you think was out of like everything that was going in between the pop up shop? Because like the funniest thing is, I do know of like what you do in terms of events, but like the craziest thing is like I don't really know what made you even want to start doing this. That's like the crazy shit because like you're almost like a manager without having to like see things in like a managerial standpoint, but you sort of like segued yourself into like being this guy that people can trust for like, hey, you know, I have this talent that I have, but I don't know where I can use it. And it's like, oh, give me 3 months, and it's like, I got you.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. So I want to know more about that, especially.
I think just like wanting to be a part of something like that, you know, and like it not being around or like there's stuff like that going on everywhere, you know, like big showcases of artists in LA or New York or there, you
Hmm.
know, but it's not happening here.
It's not. Yeah.
So it was like, you know, wanting to be a part of that, I was like, all right, you know, thinking about it and then wanting to just do my own pop up, you know, I was like, you know, that like just trying to like fit it all into like one like
Yeah.
picture, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just kind of did it, put out a sign up, you know, cause and people are always kind of not always, but people ask me like, how do you know the artist? Like, how do
Yeah.
you do this? And it's just like people I know, like you,
Yeah.
or like people like Josh, or
Yeah.
Laura,
Yeah.
or Kaylee. You know, it's just
Yeah.
people that are around us every
Yeah.
day. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like I don't know. You know,
It's.
yeah. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it's really like it is exactly like that. Where before you know it, you start to see the things that are actually working. Before like, because it's always easy to see the problem, but like for somebody to spend time focusing on a solution, it's kind of how you can distinguish somebody who's gonna like do their best at something and somebody who just kind of wants to get it out of the way. Where like, oh, I don't want to do it. Like, there's too much of a hassle. That costs money. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Like those obstacles are always going to be evident no
Oh
matter what
yeah.
you try. But when you actually want to find a solution for like whatever you want to
It's
do,
very doable.
yeah, it's very
You know.
doable. Like, say for example, like how you talked about Instagram earlier and stuff, where you met like that person who ended up being a backup dancer and you
Yeah.
followed each other on Instagram. It's a very interesting thing nowadays because I feel like as long as you put it in a physical standpoint, there's nothing that really stops you from seeing those things like in your face all the time. Like,
Mhm.
because like say 30 years ago, you know, like it would be almost invisible for you to see a behind the scenes of like Star Wars, and now that shit is everywhere,
Yeah.
and mainly because people are very fascinated on sharing those ideas. So the second you make yourself like somebody that is a lot more transparent and egoless, like a lot of things start transforming right before you even like actually have to do it. Like,
Yeah.
and like you're a very good catalyst for that kind of stuff where I feel like no matter what, like a lot of people can just sort of trust you and see you as like half a mentor, half like an artist, and then at the same time half of like a person who's making something that like creates people, like gives people like a method of creation almost. And I
Yeah.
really think that's like really cool of you, you know,
Yeah.
because you don't have to do this whatsoever.
Yeah.
Nobody's telling you like, hey Paris, like next month you got to make this happen. This is all you making people like very happy to do whatever they get to do and shit. So
Yeah, for sure, man. Like that needs to be happening all the time.
that does.
You know, I've been trying to plan this event out for a while, actually, man. It was supposed to happen in like November of
Yeah,
last year.
yeah. Because when we were talking about it, you were asking me like, oh, let anybody that like performs, does art, design, like bring them to me and stuff, and we'll see if like they you know like they have as much of a good time as you wanted.
Yeah.
And then like it had ended up getting pushed back, but I think like to an extent like it was still a fair game kind of thing where
Hmm.
it worked out for its like own benefit. I don't know how you saw it going, but like from what I can feel like from the outside and stuff like that, that looked like a very successful event.
Yeah, hell yeah. It
It
definitely was. But like I had like a particular vision for it, like a certain location.
yeah,
You know, it was gonna be
yeah, it was gonna be
downtown.
down here. Yeah,
You know, and that would have just been lit, like,
yeah,
cause there's Jay Wu, there's Rizzy, there's Brown, there's just like all these hotels, all
mm-hmm.
this like traffic, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know, it would have just been like way bigger and like possibly like who knows, you know, like who
Yeah,
knows how it could have went.
yeah, it
It's
could,
still a good outcome, like nonetheless.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, man.
yeah. Like what's it called? Have you been like taking care of yourself lately?
Yeah, I mean that pop up definitely like took a toll on me in a way. Not took a toll on me, but like it was just like being there, like every day.
Every
You know,
day, yeah. Until like what 4? Did you close it
it
or
was
6?
either like 12 to 4, or 4 to 10,
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
on install, like putting up the show and putting down the show
mhm,
happened at the same time. You know, like as I was taking art down,
mhm,
patching up the wall, painting it, like artists were coming in right after to put up. You know, so there was
yeah.
always like it
There's
was
always
always
emotion. There's
busy.
always
Yeah,
emotion.
man.
I wanted to come like the last day. I was already doing a shoot for like a friend who needed like a photographer for like a dating auction that they were putting up for school and stuff, and that was
Mhm.
going on until 9. And then I knew your shit was closing at 10, and then I wanted to say like, "Hey Paris, I'm coming through at 10 to help you like close out," but I didn't want to
Right.
make a promise I couldn't keep.
Right.
So I just said, "Wait, I'm gonna just see if like I can even make it." My friend ended up losing like their ID, and
Yikes.
like it was just like it turned out to a 6 to 9 thing to a 6 and 11 all the way to 12 o'clock kind of thing, and it was just like shit, I can't do it. And then
Right.
yeah, but like all in all though, I'm still glad like like you're here and you're actually going to Cali just to like vibe out for a while.
Yeah,
you
man.
know?
This should be cool. I
Yeah.
wanna like, I wanna eventually like do this like Paris and Friends, but like in New York and in Boston.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I wanna not even just like Paris and Friends, but just like events. You know, I
Mhm.
just wanna like not only be here in Providence. You know, like I love Providence. You know, but like I wanna just like explore.
Yeah,
You know.
no, yeah, cause like this place like is definitely doing like a good job of its things, but like there's a world out there and
Yeah,
stuff
for
like that.
sure, man.
And like talking to a city is cool, but like to an extent, like sometimes you want to give like as many people the opportunity to see what you're doing as possible. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if like you pay attention to how like Chance moves or like
I
I don't know.
love
I'm
Chance the
yeah,
Rapper, dude.
like I'm the kind of person that like studies a lot, like from interviews all the way to other shit. Yeah, go ahead.
I think. Are you at the door? So what are you gonna do? All right. What time are you working then? All right. That's fine, I guess. From the print shop. All right. I got you. I'm like, I'll just do it later. I'll hit you up. All right. Bye.
You need to go like take care of something.
No. I had a friend who was gonna come here and print.
Oh,
So I
really?
thought she was at the door, but she ended up getting scheduling for work, so she's just gonna
Oh,
go work.
okay, yeah. I was saying like I'm the kind of person that loves to like kind of study. The second like I get a chance to like even in my spare time now, almost like I don't spend enough of it leisurely. I kind of just spend time concentrating on like how to make something better, even if it's just like looking at like how film analysis works or a video
Mhm.
essay on concept and writing and stuff. I find a lot of fascination on like seeing how people transform like something that could have been small or should have been small to something that was like really really big. So you having like the idea to just like sort of go into like other places and sort of see for yourself how people are gonna respond to that. That's definitely an evident move and stuff.
Yeah, man. And I don't want to just like leave Providence, but I want to like go out to these different spaces and meet people and
Mhm.
like bring that back to Providence. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
that was one thing I was trying to do with this event was like reach out to like other communities and
Mhm.
like kind of mix up the
Yeah,
artists, but
yeah.
it
And
was
that's
hard because like I haven't really been out to other communities, you know, so
yeah.
it was kind of a hard go to like get down. And
Yeah.
there were some people that reached out, and I reached out, but like
Mhm.
there was just so much organizing already that I had to do that to like
Yeah.
it was too much for me. So I just had to like
Step back and like
step
sort
back,
of like
you know.
peel away at like what you had already as like
Yeah.
substance and stuff.
You know, and I'm glad though. Like I'm always glad at the end of my events because I'm always like usually never like satisfied. So like
Yeah.
I don't ever like meet my expectation of how things go. So it kind of just like motivates me to use like all the ideas or all the things that didn't happen for the next one.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, the pop up was so good, you know, and I'm like excited, but like I'm more excited about the next one
Yeah.
than like how this one even turns. Like I'm already like
You're already ahead
thinking,
on that. Yeah.
you know, and that's how it always is, and it's good, but it has its cons too, you know, because like
Yeah.
as an artist, I'm just always trying to create, so
Yeah.
it kind of like it,
I find it like a paradox because like you're at the same time you're being the exact opposite of what you normally like to be, where it's like, all right, I'll take care of that and I'll take care of that, but you just kind of want to like not the word necessarily be selfish, but at least like do something that you feel was like good on your end. Like say like how you said like you weren't really necessarily you're not satisfied just doing it good once. Like you're satisfied on like making it great like the next
yeah,
bunch of other
great,
times.
man.
And then like I feel like it must be so confusing being you because you take so much like effort to make sure that things work out for other people that I don't know 100% of like you're working hard enough for yourself. Like
Yeah.
do you find like any like satisfaction in that? Like you like in your personal work, like say for example, or do you find it that the two talk to each other? You're like
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like this event is kind of like my artwork in a way. You know, it's me
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's me thinking about like a space. How can I like activate a space and
Mhm.
like put on like these different shows? You know, like before I was more like visually trying to please people with like my
Mhm.
street art. You know, like throwing images out there.
Yeah.
Like look at my artwork. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to like show people visually what I'm about. But I think nowadays I'm more about like giving people vibes, giving
Yeah.
people like good energy, you
Yeah.
know. So that's where it's like a physical location now where
Yeah.
you can come in and like hang out, be
Mhm.
around this artwork, you
Yeah.
know, and leave with like not an image but like a memory,
Yeah.
like an
Helping
energy.
people get determined about like their shit instead of like getting like upset about like what everybody else is doing. Like get a part like become a part of it almost.
Yeah, man. It's like I feel like I never really know what I'm doing until like months later when I look back and something kind of just triggers and I'm like, "Oh, I think that's why I did that." You know, like that's why I made that image or I made that t-shirt or I
Yeah.
did this event. It was like, "Oh, it's cuz of that," you know.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, so like you were asking me earlier like why was I doing it? Like yeah, it was kind of like these LA events like Agenda. I don't know if you heard of Agenda. It's like this my friend put me on in high school. It was just like this big like showcase of brands,
Mhm.
kind of like my event. People would just pay or like however the deal was, and just showcase for a day like a pop up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it was cool. You know, and that's kind of like what maybe initially like got me thinking about like big events. You know,
Mhm.
and then even like Laura Henderson with like the Full Moon Market.
Yeah.
You know, like that was just like an inspiration to see kind of her and like I kind of helped her in a few little things so I got
Yeah.
to like see behind the scenes, you know,
Yeah.
see how she organized it, how she put it together.
Yeah.
um
And I just talked to her and like she's like doing a really good job at like just whatever she touches. I think
yeah,
like even though like it's mainly like print design and stuff like that. Like it's I'm really glad that like someone like her is like doing what she does and stuff.
yeah,
Because like almost like what you said, like once you're such like a good person of positivity and stuff, it kind of puts like a little signature that says it'll turn out okay. It'll be
yeah,
just fine. Like at the end of the day. You
yeah,
know?
for sure, man,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's kind of just like I don't know, you know.
Mm.
I think I just try to like be like a sponge and soak up everything, like
Yeah.
you know, even from you, like all in like a good way, you know, like
Yeah.
just soak up from like AS220 or New Urban Arts
Mhm.
or like 186 Carpenter, all these different like community spaces, and that's kind of like what made my pop up, you know,
Yeah.
like I kind of had the idea of like making a sneaker junkies
Mhm.
and a Lupos and a AS220 slash New Urban Arts, like all mixed in
In
one.
one place. Yeah.
You know, like a retail store
Yeah.
like Sneaker Junkies,
Yeah.
a performance space like Lupos,
Yeah. And
a
tailor.
maker space, you know, where you can make here, you can showcase work, sell it, you
Mhm.
know, all in like one space.
Yeah.
You know,
And tailor it on like the connection. You know, like showing how they're all related to one another and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's like, I mean, that's a hard thing to do, but I mean, what?
it's weird though because people are like have been congratulating me and like thanking me, and like you know, thank you, I appreciate it, but like I don't really feel like I'm doing like that much to be like thanked this much, you know, or like congratulated. Like it's so awesome that the
Yeah.
mayor gave me that, you know, but like what happened at the pop up was like like a fraction of what I really wanted to
Yeah,
happen. You
yeah.
know, like
It was like
it's
just
only gonna get so much bigger and bigger. You
yeah.
know,
It
like
was just the beginning, pretty much. Yeah.
yeah, man, and like seeing these other spaces getting like I seen this particular local like nonprofit. They got like a $30,000 grant, and like I was looking through their like stuff, and I was like, yo, like my pop up had like such like dope workshops from like local artists.
Mhm.
You know, like it was just crazy to see like I don't know, like how far things can go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like imagine if I got $30,000 to
Mhm.
do a pop up. Like it would go sick, dude. Like it would go
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm very like that. That's what I was saying. Like I'm very excited for what's gonna come.
Yeah. Cause
I'm I don't like to like sit and like let the lights flash. Like
mhm.
oh like the pop or like the events. Like nah. I'm already thinking about the next one. I want to work again with the city.
Mhm.
Like this street fair that I did like last
Yeah.
year. I
Yeah.
want to have like something like that again, but
The
I want
one
to
that
have
was in
like
the
a
fall, right?
yeah. I want to
Yeah.
have like a carnival and like bumper cars.
Yeah.
I want to have like a Ferris wheel. I want to have like dope shit.
Yeah.
Like, and it's all doable, man. It's just doing it.
Yeah.
Trying it, trying
People.
to do
Yeah.
it.
And people really believe in you now, cause like you put
Yeah,
your
man.
passion to what actually happens, and no matter what comes out, I think like people are very pleased that you gave it so much attention. That's like what really counts. That
Yeah.
you're like no matter what, from like despite if like this person never showed up or if like I didn't sell that T-shirt and stuff like that. I feel for the most part you being the curator of it all really makes it worth it all the time, because even if it's like not something that you're directly like producing, I feel a lot more comfortable going somewhere where it's like, yeah, no, you're gonna have a good time when you say it, because you represent a little bit more than just like what's like expected. It's like, oh yeah, I can put that artist on and that artist on. You can put names out there, but it's not really just about telling somebody what somebody does. It's showing somebody what you can do and
Yeah,
stuff.
hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I feel like we can all do what we want to do, man. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's it when you realize that, and I'm still like realizing that. Like I'm not like I can't just like set a goal and always just do it. Like
Mhm.
at the snap of a finger. But like I'm realizing every day, and like after every time that I push myself a little bit,
Yeah.
with everything that I do, I'm starting to realize that you can really do anything, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's all like up to like how far you allow yourself to go.
Yeah.
Like that's really it.
Mhm.
With the pop up, like the pop up or the events or like
Even like your T-shirts and shit,
t-shirts,
like that.
my personal art.
Yeah.
Even with my job that I got at AS220, like
Mhm.
I was up against like over 200 people. When I heard about that, I was like, yo, I'm not getting this job.
Yeah.
Me
But
against 200 other like local people like Laura who
Mhm.
like teaches at RISD. She's been like a teacher for a while.
Mhm.
Probably other people that are way more qualified, but like they took a risk on me because they know that even though I don't have it on paper,
Mhm.
I have it at least in heart, and then,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm motivated to get shit done.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Like you're
That's why.
yeah, like, and it's important that somebody like you gets something that works either as a job or just like I said earlier, like the accolade of like getting that recognition from the city, because it's good. It's one thing to recognize somebody that obviously can do something, but it's somebody that wants to do something that works just a little bit different. Like I feel like when you see somebody that obviously you could take a Donald Glover and put him in like a dancing recital and say, well, he is Donald Glover. He can kind of do that shit.
Yeah.
He's not. It's not hard for him to like make a statue out of popsicle sticks.
Yeah.
But if you gave somebody that wants to do something and they pull off something that you didn't quite expect but it still worked, then that's even more meaningful, because that just gives room for something a little bit more creative. Like I'm not saying like the person that's already like doing something really cool isn't as like talented as like say you are and stuff, but it's making sure that like there's always the spotlight for somebody that will come next and stuff. That's really important. Like not just ironing out like a legacy for like something that might come if there's like a flaw clause or something like that, like worst case scenario, but in the spotlight of like giving to each his own and stuff like that, and paying it forward in the idea that everybody deserves like either between a chance or like the opportunity to see themselves do something they didn't think they could.
Yeah.
And like now you're really manifesting that like personality where you're doing things that I don't know that maybe 7 years you were probably doing, but like maybe not to this scale. Like what, like looking back, like what do you think is like the most funniest thing that's happened between like the last 7 years? Because I feel like I haven't known you for more than like 2 years, but I feel like it's as if like I've seen a guy that was like doing something and then doing something like way more than like you ever probably intended like a few months before. Because you just said it earlier where it's just like you kind of go off of like how it happens, and then before you know it, it elevates itself. So
Yeah.
what was like, what do you think you were doing like 3 years ago that turned into this? Like,
I think I was doing the same shit, just like way more, like I just like yeah. I always feel like that. Like I was still making clothes, still doing little pop-ups, still like shooting photo or video.
did you
Like
did you have like any friends that sort of told you otherwise, like it wasn't gonna work out?
oh yeah, man. Like when I first started, dude. Like first like started, my dad, my family.
Yeah.
Not really my friends. They probably just like didn't. They didn't tell me like,
They were
oh,
just
dude,
more
it's
local.
not gonna
Yeah,
work out.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, they just like probably weren't around or something. But hell yeah, you know. But I always was just inspired, man. Always just taking like inspiration from everything. Like that's when I was really into like Warhol, and he was doing like silk screen.
Ye-
You know, he started off as a painter, then he
Yeah.
got into silk screen, then he got into taking photos, then he
Yeah.
started doing films. You know, and I was like, yo, this dude's doing anything that he wants to do and doing
Yeah.
it like great. You know, and I was just like inspired by that. I was like, yo, if he could do that, I could do that.
Yeah.
You know, like why can't I do that? Why can't I take photos of my own clothes? You know, it all works together. You know, like I'll make a shirt. You know, I'll
Yeah.
like print it or whatever, and then I'll take a photo. You know, or do a photo shoot, and then I'll make like a short video for it, and then I'll present it. You know,
Yeah.
in a way.
And all the places that it touches, from like the person that's doing it all the way to where it comes out, it's all people that have almost what's the word I'm looking for? Not even the same mindset, but it all circulates. It comes from a part of you that another person embodies, then a part of them that's been touching on like saying producing the video goes to another person who thinks that this person would like it, and it all circulates because those mindsets are making union of like one centric good idea and stuff.
Yeah.
And when you see that plan like to fruition, it really does make anything possible. Like if you want to draw and you want to figure out exactly how printing works and stuff like that, more than likely you're gonna find somebody that's into printing that thinks the same way like you, or oh, I haven't really thought of drawing like that, but the way you do it is really good and stuff.
Yeah.
It all talks to each other.
Yeah.
So do you think that kind of was how? Do you think that's how sort of all this came to fruition? Like, because I can't even imagine what you were like in high school, for example, or something
I
like
was
that.
probably mad weird. I was just like, I was very to myself for the first few years, like the first 2 years, because I didn't have that many friends. And I was really like different than people, you know? Like I dressed different, like just carried myself differently, and then I feel like I kind of like cave in and like started like dressing like other people, you know, trying to like fit in. Until one day I was just like, yo, this is not really like me, you know? And I just kind of like decided to like step back and like started doing me, and I feel like I kind of like started losing friends and started like, I don't know, like people like it was really weird. I was going through a lot of different shit, like a lot of like different things, you know, and yeah, high school was really weird, but I was pretty chill, you know.
I can see that. Like, you know, like you're just kind of like your own indie kid. You know?
Yeah, I was just doing me, man. Just like listening to like Childish and like other like, you know, shit that people didn't really listen to. Cause like, you know, Childish when he was doing like before
camp.
3005.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
people
like
didn't really like Childish. You
Childish.
know?
Who the fuck is this guy? You know, punchline, fucking corny ass rapper.
Yeah,
talking.
you know. But yeah, it was cool, man. And then like I think 2013, I must have been in like 11th grade. You know, 2000 like the number 13 is very significant to me because that's the year I started like making artwork. Hey.
Sorry, I don't have my phone on me. I don't know if you texted me that. But
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
you're welcome.
I seen you walk by from Mexico.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
What's up?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you again. You about to get going or?
Yeah, probably I'll be upstairs for a while, but
Okay.
yeah, it was good to bump into you.
Yeah, it was really nice seeing you and stuff.
Yeah. I know I gotta stitch it back on
Sew
there.
it
It's
on.
coming off.
What are you up to today?
Just kind of like studio stuff, cooking stuff, just getting life organized.
Yeah, it's a Sunday.
Yeah.
It's definitely Sunday today.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
What
kind of
about you guys?
just doing this, interviewing, and then like after this, putting it all together and stuff. And then probably gonna show my roommate, no, not my roommate, my friends, and help him do a movie review. It's college, so like homework assignments are very abstract. Yeah, like I think he's rewatching Cloverfield or something like that for his analysis or something like that.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah.
When do you head out?
Tomorrow morning.
Oh my god, so I'm saying see you in a little bit until your LA adventure.
Yeah.
Are you so excited?
I am very excited.
Yeah, take a bottle of like that sunshine and like open it here. Like, you know, we need.
Oh
Yeah, we need summer, like just for like 2 days or 2 minutes.
Yeah.
How did the closing party go at the pop-up?
It was cool. I made like $60,
Cool.
which is dope, just to like have. You know,
Yeah.
And yeah, people came by. It was cool. A lot of like different faces. I'm always seeing like new people
That's
coming
so
by,
cool.
which is cool.
I've been telling everyone I know to go to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you
Even,
gotta go to
like-
one thing.
People I don't know that are like coming back, you know, which is even cool because you would expect that more from like your friends, which are like close supporters, but like just people just like coming back and like coming with other faces. So it's cool, you know. It's like
The dream.
yeah, you know,
It
it's
is, yeah.
it's showing me that like it was good, you know, and like
It works. The model works.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to go, and I knew he did a good job on it. I didn't even have to go. I just kept checking on it and shit.
where
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. I had such a great time at it. Like everything I went to was so good. Great job with the curation.
Yeah, thank you.
I wish I could have like made it. I was so caught up in like getting work done that like all I could do was just kind of watch and like tell him like, hey, how's it going? Like, how's this like working out and stuff.
Cool. Well, I mean, you get to support now by like interviewing and
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
documenting, like,
Yeah.
everyone contributes their own way. I always tell that like, you know, sometimes people can't go to like protests and stuff because they just
Yeah.
are really sensitive.
Yeah.
And they're like, I feel so bad about it. And I'm like, just contribute in other ways, like print protest posters for
Yeah.
the protest,
Yeah.
or like, you know, you don't like the only way to support isn't to be there. Like, there's
Yeah.
other ways to support
Yeah.
the protest too.
'Cause-
You know.
Yeah, everybody that's for the most part set a foot in this place has like made it their own, like made it in their own way to the point where like they're a very good example of like making things happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important that this kind of place is here, especially you. So
Yeah.
really appreciate you guys.
It's so important that it's here. Can you
Yeah.
imagine a Providence without it?
Oh my
I don't even
god.
want to.
I don't either. When I step outside the bubble, I'm like, no! Yeah, it's pretty powerful what community can do,
Yeah,
what a group of people can do.
yeah. Just the visual of it. You don't even have to walk into a place, but just knowing that it's here is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have such a good
Thank
trip.
You, thank you for
Keep me
helping out.
posted. I'm excited to see your updates online. So good to see you.
okay?
Yeah, sounds good. All right.
Alright, Laura, I'll catch you later.
Bye.
Sounds good. See ya.
That's actually like a low key good segue to like what I was like one of the last things that I was gonna ask you or something like that. It was cause you're a very good example of like kind of what the magazine shows that I even have to trying it, where it's like you're always working for progress. You're always seeing like the next thing and making something like that could have been just small, a little bit more bigger and more important than it had to be. So out of like everything that you've sort of seen for yourself right now, what do you think like what percentage do you think like you would put like right now for yourself if you had to like think about it, or do you don't even think like you have one yet?
What do you mean by that?
Like
Dramatic interview.
like in terms of, say for example, I was doing this a year ago, now I'm here and stuff like that. Like do you see yourself like having a lot more road to cover? Do you think like maybe for example you have to like spend a little bit of time detouring around something? or do you still like feel as though like you're coming off of like something that was a big chunk of like something that was really important?
Maybe a little bit of all of that
Little
together.
bit of all.
Like yeah, it definitely was like a big thing for me that like took a lot of energy,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I feel like I'm still just like on this long road,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm only like a partial way there.
Yeah, and I feel like it's kind of funny because when I see you on a road, I don't think it's just be you by yourself. I think like I see a bunch of trucks and little minivans, like of everybody like trying to get in on the fun that like you're having and stuff like
Right.
that, and making sure that it's always gonna stay to like the top and stuff like that. Even people that like Laura just said earlier, where people don't even have to know exactly who you are to be interested in like how you do something and stuff. You know, like I said, it's very important that like you know you believe in yourself and stuff like that. And I'm not even trying to put pressure onto it, but I'm just like very excited for like what you're capable of. You
Yeah.
know? Like it's very grand like that you're doing what you feel is important to you.
Yeah, man.
Because like I'm in college and stuff, and not a lot of people believe in themselves. Like, and it's not even in the bad way, but it's just that like from when I started to like where I am now and stuff, I feel a lot more better in my situation because there's a lot more clairvoyance, you know. Because if you spend enough time like being like being almost comfortable with who you truly are and stuff like that, there's gonna be something good that comes out of it.
That's
And
the
then
most important thing, is just believing in yourself.
Yeah, and then so many people kind of get skewed between like professors and crits and like sort of like I mean life in general to the most part is gonna like have some like alteration on you and stuff, but it kind of just feels like it just kind of makes you a little bit disappointed when you can't really see somebody that like had a lot going for them sort of tear it down for themselves without even like letting it be something. And then like you and a lot of people here are like very good visuals of like staying true to yourself and not letting like any disgusting sort of like kind of audience in front of you be like the bane of like what you're creating and stuff like that. Like it's still art. It's still a design. It's still like an amazing like song. It's still just like it's still you and stuff. You don't have to be scared of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you like for everything.
Oh man, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right. So you want to take these shots?
Yeah, dude.